Palazzo Madama e Casafetta degli Acciari is a palace in Turin, northern Italy. It was the first senate of the Italian kingdom, and takes its traditional name from the embellishments it received under two queens of the House of Savoy. History. At the beginning of the 1st century BC, the site of the palace was occupied by a gate in the Roman walls from which the Decumanus Maximus of Augusta Taurinorum departed. Two of the towers, although restored, still testify to this original nucleus. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the gate was used as a fortified stronghold in the defences of the city. Later the building became a possession of the Savoia-Acciari, a secondary branch of the House of Savoy. In the early 14th century, they enlarged it into a castle. A century later Ludovico of Acciari rebuilt it in square shape, with an inner court and a portico, and 4 cylindrical towers at each corner. The form of this edifice is still clearly recognizable from the back section of the palace. After the extinction of the Acciaris, the edifice became a residence for guests of the House of Savoy. In 1637 the regent for Duke Charles Emmanuel II, Christine Marie of France, chose it as her personal residence. She commissioned the covering of the court and a revamping of the inner apartments. 60 years later another regent, Marie-Jeanne of Savoy, lived in the palace, conferring upon it definitively the nickname of Madama. She asked architect Filippo Uvara to design a new Baroque palace in white stone, but the works halted in 1721 after only the front section had been completed. Later the palace had various uses, and housed the headquarters of the Provisional French government during the Napoleonic Wars. In the 19th century King Charles Albert selected it as seat of the Pinacoteca Regia, the Royal Art Gallery, and, later, of the Subalpine Senate and of the High Court. Since 1934 it has housed to the City Museum of Ancient Art. Overlooking Piazza Castello, the section built by Uvara constitutes today a scenographic facade a single bay deep, screening the rear part of the edifice, which has remained unchanged. On the exterior, Uvara expressed what was intended as a magnificent architectural preamble to an edifice that was never built, as a high-ceilinged piano nobile with arch-headed windows, which is linked to a mezzanine above it by a colossal order of pilasters of a composite order. Each pilaster stands on a sturdy and formal fielded channel rusticated base against the ashlar masonry of the ground floor. The central 3 bays are emphasized by the bolder relief offered by full columns attached to the facade, which is returned inward behind them to afford a vast glass-fronted central interior space like a glazed loggia. Their prominence is emphasized by the tall circles on which they stand, carved with trophies of arms in relief. In the flanking triple bays, each central bay is broken slightly forwards, giving its window a deeper, more shadowed reveal within the depth of the wall. Its 2 outer giant pilasters overlap the main order as if that continued behind them. On either side the bay's windows are set together within a slightly recessed panel, thus there are 3 layered planes to the facade. The dentilled cornice supported on bold consoles in the frieze breaks forward over the central columns and subtly over the central bays of the flanking sections as well. A conforming balustrade decorated with vases and statues in white marble surmounts the facade. Il Museo di Arte Antica. The Palazzo Madama houses Turin's Museo Civico d'Arte Antica. It is not Turin's Museum of Ancient Art, that is a mistranslation, but rather a large collection of paintings, statues, church ornaments, porcelain, and decorative art, mostly from the late Middle Ages to the 18th century. Turin's Museum of Ancient Art is called the Museo dell'Antichità and is located in another place.